Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the basement. Yes, we are facing potential chaos in the next 6 months. We're going to cover that, but we've got a lot first to talk about with the silver and gold price. But first, I want to say thank you for joining me in the basement. You are the most important part of Ron's Basement. I hope you feel like you found yourself a new little home away from home because you belong here. You're part of the crowd, basement dwellers. So thank you. Please give this a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel. That's always free. But let's talk about what's going on right now in the silver and gold market. Okay, but first, more big breaking news. We survived. Congratulations. Did you know you survived something that could have potentially been very traumatic yesterday? Five Fed speakers yesterday. And you know what? What does this mean? Think about this. We had 5 Fed governors speak yesterday. And really, it was a nothing burger to the gold and silver market. Now, what is that telling us? That's telling us that the gold and silver market have matured to the point where they're kind of ignoring the Fed. The Fed is losing their potency. They're becoming impotent. Let me show you real quick. Look, this guy is becoming impotent. Not important, impotent, okay? So we survived yesterday. Congratulations, but let's get an update on the silver price. I thought this was a beautiful piece of analysis. You're going to be just floored by this. And I've got some big, super interesting news that we're going to talk about from, where is it? Here it is. From our friend Roger, Bald Guy Money. I talked to him this morning. Man, he sent me a chart which is going to make you and me smile. And I'll tell you why it made me smile. I think it'll make you smile, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This is from FX Empire Silver Price Forecast. Silver continues to see noisy trading. Does it feel that way to you? It feels that way to me. We're bouncing around. We're going to look at some charts here. I'm going to show you some interesting things going on with the silver price. But this guy, Christopher Lewis, says we've had noisy silver trading. He says, at this point, it looks like there are a lot of traders out there willing to buy the dips. Are you getting that feeling? I'm getting that feeling. Are we setting a new price floor for silver and gold in this 29, 28 range? Or are we going to be here for a while? Hey, I'm cool with that. Are you cool with that? If we hang out around $28, $29 silver for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks, even if that's what it takes to build a platform, a launching pad from which we could move into much higher silver prices by the end of the year. Okay. In green, he says the silver market initially tried to rally on Tuesday, but quite frankly, couldn't hang on to the gains. We're going to struggle for a while. By doing so, the market looks likely to continue to find support underneath, perhaps extending down to the 2850 level. That's kind of where these moving averages are. And a lot of traders are going to look at it through that prism. There are a lot of questions right now about what central banks are doing. Nobody cares about the central banks, right? We just talked about that. Gold and silver are calling the bluff of the central banks. And therefore, I think there's a lot of questions as to what silver will do. That being said, this is a market that has a lot of underlying pressure. And therefore, I think there will be plenty of people out there willing to step in and buy the dips. If we break down below 28.50, that would be a relatively negative sign. But even then, I think the real battle is probably down at $26. I agree with that. Do you agree with that? We've talked about that. $26. I see that short-term worst case scenario. I'm not predicting it, but I see that as short-term worst case scenario. That was the scene of the major breakout that got us to where we are today. Let's go say hello to each other again, huh? We love our silver, right? Huh? Right? You know what's in here? I'm going to show you in a little while. My favorite silver. I'm back in love again with those coins. Ron McAdams, thank you. Wow. Let's look at our good friend Ron. Smiling Ron. Ron and Ron, thank you for the super chat, Ron McAdams. But let's move over to something a little more interesting about the silver market. It's been a few days since we looked at this. let's look at what that guy just told us, his analysis of the silver market within this view, right? Guys, the massive cup and handle, but there's a couple secret bonuses embedded in this, okay? We got the big cup, $50 in 1980, $50 in 2011. And if you consider the fact, nobody talks about the fact that silver got to $50 in 2011. Everybody talks about the Hunt brothers back in the 1980 big run up in the silver price, and it was just because of the Hunt brothers. Everybody conveniently forgets to remember that we had $50 back in 2011. That formed this big cup. And now we are in the handle. Now, remember, this is where it gets exciting. So we're right about here, right? Right about $29. That handle breaks out. That's one of the most powerful chart patterns in the world. But this little spot where we are, where I drew that box, we broke out of a wedge, okay, which is a very bullish sign. When we broke out above $22, $23 not too long ago, and embedded within, so that was embedded within that handle, and embedded within that, in that handle is still an inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? It's like an upside down person. There's the head, and then there's the shoulders. I'm sorry, you can't see my cursor that shoots up. So within this massive bullish long-term chart pattern, within the little handle part where we are now, guys, there's even more to be excited about, even more. And some people say there's even a cup and handle within the cup and handle, within the handle. Let's go back here. I just want to remind you of this. This is a graphic from Bloomberg. Silver market heads for its fourth straight year of shortages. What does that tell us, right? But here it is graphically. Those yellow bars are the silver shortages, millions of ounces, right? Here we are, over 200 million ounces in 22, 23. 180 million ounces, and they're projecting another 200 million ounce shortfall today or this year. I don't know, guys. I mean, really, is there anything not to be excited about when it comes to silver? I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. You do your own due diligence on that. But now we're going to shift over to gold briefly, and then we are. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. The world is going to erupt into chaos within the next 6 months. I've been saying that, and I have proof for you that we're going to talk about later on. Before we move over to gold, let's move over and check on the silver and gold price. It's that time because the stock markets are closed today, but the silver and gold markets are still trading. So we're going to go to our friends at Pimbex. Let's say a prayer, guys. These are not up-to-date numbers. I need to hit that refresh button up there in the left, and let's see where we are. Okay, hey, all right, so gold's down $4, $2,361 per ounce. Silver is at $29.50. Amen. I want to say thank you to channel sponsor, Pimbex. That's the site we're on right now, PIMBEX.com. I was talking to one of the owners this morning, Michael. These are quality people that have a mission to get silver, gold, platinum into the hands of everyday investors like you and me. And what's the coolest thing about Pimbex, in my opinion, is that their prices are always hard to beat. Now, price is important, right? Because you want to get the most metal for your money, but you want to get the same products. And with Pimbex, you get the exact same products, the exact same Canadian silver bars, the exact same Kruger ants, the exact same American silver eagles, you name it, as you can get at the other big online bullion dealers, but you get them at a better price and you get customer service, which is second to none. So next time you're out, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but next time you're thinking about buying some silver, gold, or platinum group metals, really throw Pimbex into the mix. Compare what they can do for you. I think you'll find what I found. Pimbex checks all the boxes. And of course, if you ever decide that you want to convert all or part of a precious metals IRA, check with them as well. I think you'll find they can, in that regard, get you more metal for your money also. Thank you, PMG. All right, basement dwellers. I hope you guys feel like you belong here, because you do. You're part of the group. Yeah, we got a lot more to talk about. Let's move over to gold. And all right, subscribe. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's move over to gold. And here it is. We'll start with this one from Kitco. This was big news coming out yesterday. We're going to look at a couple different quickly articles that talk on this. What do you think it means, guys? What do you think it means that, hold on, are we live still? I think we are. Yes. Okay. What do you think it means that the central banks continue to buy gold? Remember that horrible day? What was it? 9 days ago when gold was down $80 in one day. And what was the reason? It's because the Chinese central bank didn't sell gold. No, they just announced that they didn't buy any gold during the month of May. But what are the other central banks doing? Let me back up. Remember, they didn't sell gold, right? And we don't even believe what the Chinese central bank says anyway. Every analyst has always said that the actual amount of gold being bought by the Chinese central bank is likely significantly higher than what they report. So just because they say they stopped buying doesn't mean they really stopped buying. All right. That's just a little hint. Now, but let's look at this. But other central banks are buying. Why central banks are increasing their gold reserves by 29% plan to buy more in 2024. That's from the World Gold Council. And that just is a graph that shows I didn't even look at it. Remain unchanged. Okay, increase. The blue. This is an interesting graph for us to look at. Look at from 2019 to 2024. The dark blue are the banks that say they're going to increase. Do you see how that percentage is increasing? 29% say they're going to increase. Remain unchanged. All right, that's pretty much remained unchanged with 72% last year, 68% this year. But look, over the last 2 years, massive central bank gold buying, okay? Here's a quote. The planned purchases are chiefly motivated by a desire to rebalance to a more preferred strategic level of gold holdings, domestic gold and production, and financial market concerns, including higher crisis risk, yes, and rising inflation. Inflation's not going anywhere, guys, okay? It is not. Rates likely, I was saying this 3 months ago, we were talking about this. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed never lowers rates again. But we don't need that for the gold price to continue to go higher because inflation is getting worse and worse and worse. And now yesterday I read an article where BlackRock said exactly what we were saying in the basement 3 months ago. We were like 3 months ahead of BlackRock, okay? Purple. The survey results come nearly 2 weeks after data from the PBOC showed that it didn't increase its gold reserves in May, ending an 18-month buying spree. However, analysts have said that even if China slows its purchases, there's still robust interest in gold as a reserve diversified. That doesn't really make sense, but they're saying that as a reserve diversifying tool. Now, the important thing to remember here is, right, number one, we don't really believe the Chinese central bank necessarily that they're actually stopping buying gold. Number two, they didn't sell gold. Number three, a lot of people say they're doing it. They stopped because they wanted, here's a little secret, they wanted to let the other BRICS countries buy gold. So they wanted to kind of, leave some space in the market so the other BRICS countries could buy gold. Because now there's all this talk about, have you heard about this? Project Enbridge, the unit, right? A gold-backed currency by the BRICS. It's starting to gain attention again. Who knows? It's going to be absolutely crazy here as we move through the end of the year. Here's a tweet from Alexander Stahel, the one and only. He says about 13% of advanced economies plan to increase their gold holdings in the next year, up from 8% last year, the highest level since the survey began. All right. Now, on top of that, and then we're going to get some crazy info that Bald Guy Money sent me. But on top of that, what is going on with this? Do you know who the Bank of International Settlements is? Can I highlight that? I don't think it'll let me highlight it. Yeah, well, hold on. The Bank for International Settlements. Guys, you think the central banks are bad? The Bank for International Settlements is the central bank of the central banks. What are they doing with gold? This is freaking a lot of people out. This says gold swaps undertaken by the Bank for International Settlements. What's a gold swap? I don't know. They loan their gold to each other. It's the whole electronic paper gold market is a mess. Remember, right? Andrew McGuire has a great interview that he did on Live from the Vault last week, that if you want to dig into that, but the whole paper electronic gold market is a giant mess right now, okay? And the Bank for International Settlements, the central bank for the central banks, right, has undertaken gold swaps. The central bank of the world central banks, their gold swaps rose by a substantial 31 tons in May over the 78 tons reported in April, reaching 109 tons, an increase of 40%. While the Bank for International Settlements long has refused, right? You think the central banks are creepy and secretive. The Bank for International Settlements, guys, is the mother of the dog, is all I can say, has refused to explain what it is doing in the gold market and for whom. All of this, guys, happening as this new chatter. Okay, thank you, Susie. As this new chatter is emerging about the potential for a gold-backed unit system, I don't know. There's a lot going on. It seems that this. Okay, thank you, Susie. It seems that the swaps are undertaken by the Bank for International Settlements for one or more of its central bank members, with the swapped gold being accounted for as being held in registered side account at a central bank. In any case, the swaps represent surreptitious central bank intervention in the gold market. So there's a lot going on. We're going to get to the bald guy data here next. Wow, Ancient Tom. Thank you for the super chat. What's he have to say? Ancient Tom says, just me and the chickens and the dog and the cats and the raccoons and the possums and the turtles and etc. Well, and you're here in the basement with us, just like everybody who's with us today. Hey, Clifton, thank you for the super chat as well. Cliff Moberg, just me and the chickens. Got a lot of chicken raisers here in the basement. I know where I'm coming for my eggs, but we want the goose that laid the golden egg. Let's look. I was talking with Bald Guy Money, right? He's one of the smartest guys in the room, right? A very, very intelligent analyst. Bald Guy Money YouTube channel. Good friend of mine. Good friend of the basement, okay? Let's go take a look. He sent me some exclusive information. Oh, hold on here. What am I doing? How do I, hold on. Uh-oh, we're having technical problems. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. And where was I? Okay, here it is. All right, let's go take a look at this. Uh-oh. Here we go. Before I forget, I'm going to bring the pocket pinger 10 times for the 100 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Nothing like hearing a little silver, right, to remind us. Now, let's go to the bald guy's chart, and this is very insightful. And there's the COMEX, this is, you know what, real quickly, that cube is the amount of gold, the total amount of gold mined in the world in the first 3 months of this year. Just to keep things in perspective, when we're talking about gold and silver, right? That's like 8 feet by 8 feet. That's the total amount of gold mined in the world in the first 3 months of this year. Gold and silver are scarce assets, okay? That was a little aside. This is a very interesting chart. We were talking about the gold price and the silver price this morning with Bald Guy Money. And he said, I'm going to send you a chart that shows, right, that for precious metals, we'll just read this. Although June, that's the month we're in, is the second weakest month historically, there is a trend that sees gold price pick up at the end of the summer. So guys, we got good news coming here, right? Heading into its strongest month, which is historically September. So if you look at the bottom down there, I know it's possibly a little cloudy. Oh, Now it's nothing. There we go. Okay. The 0%, right? Gold price performance from 1975 to 2020. So we're talking about a 25, 45 years of data. June is typically the lowest performing month of the year. Looks like March is the worst, right? But that's what we're going through right now. But look at July, look at August, look at September. Look how the price goes up and up and up. Now, look at this S&P 500. Isn't it interesting that September, and Bald Guy pointed this out, right? The month of September, which traditionally is the best month of the year for gold, and of course, by default, little brother silver as well, but that's also the worst performing month of the year for the S&P 500. So if we can get through, that's the big key right now for us. If we can get through, if we can maintain, let's say 28, 28.50, $29 silver, if we can maintain $2,200 gold, we could be heading into a really, really great period of the year for the rest of the year. Look, I'm getting a lot of kickback on what I'm saying, that I think the stock market's overvalued. Do you think the stock market, the general stock market, is overvalued? I want to show you something that I think is just absolutely, where did I put it? Hold on here, guys. Here it is. Okay, here we go. And there we are. This guys shows us, and I think you can still see me in the corner of the screen, but this shows us right now how overvalued the stock market is. This is the price to sales ratio. This will be quick, but this will show you what an incredible bubble we are in. Right now, NVIDIA has a price to sales ratio of 42, Microsoft 14, Apple 8. Okay, I want to remind you that, remember the tech bubble when it burst? The CEO of one of the darlings of the tech bubble, Sun Microsystems, Scott McNealy, a couple of years after the tech bubble burst, he said he was amazed that his company at one point during the tech bubble, okay, remember that, and it burst, people lost a lot of money. I knew a lot of people who lost a lot of money when the tech bubble burst. Nonetheless, he was amazed that his company at the peak had a price to sales ratio of 10. And he even said that. He said, look, we're not talking the price of the stock to earnings. We're talking price to sales. Okay. That would mean that for 10 years, the company would have to give back all of the sales of the organization to shareholders, just for shareholders to break even. Microsoft, and I have relatives that work for Microsoft, great company, no doubt. 14 times sales. I almost said earnings, not earnings, sales. Right? That means if you own one share of Microsoft stock, they would have to give you your share of the sales of that company for the next 14 years. Now, you know that's not realistic because companies have expenses. So this whole idea that the stock market is grossly undervalued is absolutely the case. And what's going to happen when some of this money comes out of these overvalued sectors of the stock market and is scared money? Where does money go when it's scared? It goes to gold. It goes to silver. And it's not going to take a lot. It's a big benefit that we have right now, right? Huh? Basement dwellers? You know, we are in what an asset class, whether it's gold, silver, or the mining stocks, which is suffering from pretty cruddy sentiment. The good news is, and this is good news, that's good news. You're a contrarian, right? You stepped away from the herd. The good news is that because of that, there is such a massive runway ahead of us for improvement in the price of gold, of silver, and in particular, the precious metal mining stocks. Right? That's the good thing about being down, right? It'd be like if my daughter came to me and said, Daddy, I have a D in math class. I'd say, well, that really stinks, or a D minus. I'd say, the good news is you got a lot of room for improvement. And that's exactly the case of what we're dealing with right now within the precious metals mining sector. Chaos in the next 6 months, right? Trouble, in the U.S. economy. We know that would also create more of a favorable environment for the silver price and gold price. Let me ask you a question, okay? Residential real estate, right? Do you own a house? I do, right? A lot of Americans own houses. Maybe you own a house, but overall in America, in the United States, Americans feel like they're a big part of their wealth is tied to their houses. Okay, what are we on the verge of a major real estate collapse in this country right now? Well, think about this. If things are getting bad now, right now, we are early summer. We just came out of spring. Those are the most favorable months for real estate. And let's just go through a couple quick articles that give us some insight into what's going on in residential real estate. Here we go. Real estate expert, this is Fox News, defines housing market doomsday, something we haven't seen in our lifetime in residential real estate. Let's go over to Yahoo Finance. Headline. This was this morning. The housing market, big challenge. Consumers are feeling more distressed. Wait till you read this. Wait till you hear this. Okay, this is home builder Lennar on its conference call. This was the co-chief executive. Quote, there's no question that given inflation rates and the cost of living expenses, the consumer is definitely feeling a bit more distressed. And we are starting to see a little bit more credit challenge as customers come through. Stuart Miller, executive chairman and co-chief executive of Lennar, told investors and analysts on the company's second quarter earnings call Tuesday afternoon. This is interesting. Lennar's, this is a big new home builder. Average sales price of homes delivered was $426,000 in the quarter, down from $450,000 during the same period last year. What is this telling us? Home sales are the number of units are dropping. On top of that, the price is dropping. Americans are attached to the value of their home. It's how a lot of people define their wealth, right? And then they use it. This could get crazy. The next 6 months, right? This is spring and summer that we're seeing this massive downfall in the residential real estate market. This is supposed to be the best time of the year. Okay. A lot of Americans also use equity in their home. They borrow against it with home equity loans to rack up even more debt, to pay for trips to Disney World or to buy a new car. Or, it's not a smart thing to do, in my opinion, but a lot of Americans do it. But as the value of homes comes down, and this is a consumer-driven economy, guys, I'm telling you, the next 6 months are going to be, something is going to happen, right? The hens are coming home to roost, even just domestically, under the best case scenario in the United States, something big is going to happen. On a worldwide basis, we know there's massive, I don't say opportunity, potential for the old black swan events to occur. Things are getting, Redfin CEO, also, Redfin's one of the biggest real estate related companies in the country. He says house prices will drop this summer as homeowners are trying to wait out mortgage rates, realize they can't postpone moving any longer. That's Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman. The head of the online real estate brokerage pointed to signs that the housing market is starting to get more affordable. Home prices will fall this summer as owners have to cave to selling prices. Florida and Texas are getting hit, okay? What about commercial real estate? That's the big one that can blow the banks up. What are we learning about commercial real estate? Let's go out here. Look at this. On the commercial real estate front, our friends at the Silver Academy. Think about this, guys. Prime Manhattan office tower sees value. This is Manhattan. This is not St. Louis, right? The armpit of the country, downtown St. Louis. It's horrible. The buildings in downtown St. Louis are selling for like 70 or 80% less. This is Manhattan, Okay. Office tower value plunges by $100 million. The building was valued at $215 million in 2019. New appraisal valued it at $104 million, actually more than 50% disastrous drop. Okay. Let's go down here. There's more. Okay. Another New York City, right? I mean, the Big Apple, 321 West 44th Street is set to be sold for less than $50 million, 67% off what it sold for a few years ago. There are banks out there that loaned money to investors to buy these buildings, okay, a few years ago, right? At 67% higher prices. These banks are in massive, massive trouble. We have PIMCO, right, stating that we could see massive regional bank failures because of this exposure to the commercial real estate market. I'm going to ring the cowbell. Okay. And talking about Apple, we talked about the Big Apple. We're going to talk about Apple next. But hey, I want you to feel like you belong here. We always ring the bell for 200 thumbs up. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for being here today. Does Apple see a big disaster on the horizon? Apple Computer, right? They had here's the deal. Nobody has any money in this country, right? The consumer's running out of money. The consumer is the backbone of the economy. When all this falls apart, I almost forgot to tell you, we need to talk about gold and silver. When all this happens, when the economy really falls apart, guys, what do you think Jerome Powell's going to do? What do you think the Fed's going to do? I got a little secret for you, okay? The Fed is playing games. I've heard it stated different ways, but if you notice, they say one thing and then they shift, they go back and forth. They're putting out kind of a mixed message about the fight on inflation and how the economy's doing because they're scared to death. They can see what's coming down the tracks at the United States economy. And when it happens, right, they want to build up whatever ammo they can at this point. Because remember, well, I'll get to that in a second, because they're going to have to print money, right? When all this poop hits the fan, they're going to have to print money. And when they print money, right, your silver and your gold this time will be different. This time will be different. That could usher in the epic rally in the gold price, and silver even more so, right? Because you know what's going to happen when they print money next time, when they realize, right, when your average people realize that, yes, it really is happening. Yes, my dollars, we should have listened to Ron from Ron's Basement. We should have listened to you, right, basement dweller, that this dollar's going down. People are going to freak. And that's when we're going to have this rush of people coming into the precious metals sector, right? They never fixed what got totally screwed up back in 2008, the great financial crisis. They took the easy way out, right? We had a lot more, the Fed had a lot more strength back then. They were able to print, save the bankers, right? Nobody learned any lessons. We just printed our way out of it. Right? We got in trouble. Daddy came and bailed them out of jail, basically. Now, this time, it will be different. Okay? Things, right, are happening much more quickly now, but at a much more extreme level. We have extreme higher levels of debt, leverage in the system, right? It's all based on illusion. It's a monetary mirage. It's all based on credit. It's all based on promises amongst people. And then you got the derivatives market on top of that. I mean, it's unbelievable what the system has gotten to. And when it happens this time, right, does Apple, all right, I digress. Let's just go take a look and see what Apple Computer is doing. Does Apple, excuse me, see something coming, right? Here from Zero Hedge. Headline. Oh, here we go. Oh, we got to go all the way to the top. Good old, Apple, pay later. Apple Pay later, discontinued. Okay. They're shifting it. They don't want anything to do with it. Okay. Apple ended their Apple Pay Later program. Let's all have a drink of coffee together right now. Why would Apple do that? Right? Because remember, nobody has any money in the United States overall. Maybe you do, right? Maybe you got, Susie and I have a little money saved up, but most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We know that's the case. Most Americans have maxed out their credit cards. Most Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense. So these buy now, pay later schemes came on to help, extend even more credit to people who've dug themselves into way too huge of a debt trap already. But now Apple is seeing the writing on the wall, and Apple is discontinuing their buy now, pay later system. Oh boy, I don't know if I should talk about this next subject or not. Look, I care about you. Okay. I care about me. I care about my family. I care about you. I know you care about your family. I want to tell you how clear this is becoming to me, this massive bubble that we're in right now, but just the whole system, how we are living in this credit-based system. Everything is credit out there, guys. And when it bursts this time, we've got big trouble coming our way. Only thing I'll recommend is try to get yourself out of debt if at all possible. Okay. What about gold in the world right now? Let's talk about gold in some other places of the world, because we mentioned this recently. The United States, we kind of live in a bubble when it comes to silver and gold, right? And it's our little bubble. You're here in the basement with me. We love silver and gold, but our country as a whole does not love silver and gold, not yet, right? Why is that the case? Have you ever asked yourself? Thank you, Debbie, for that super chat. Wow, you guys are being super generous today. Have you ever asked yourself why? Who do you learn from? Who did you learn about money from? Okay, I'll guarantee you, Americans, general Americans, right, are financially illiterate. All right, that's a known fact, right? We live in this system where we're brainwashed to go into debt, work your whole life, be a debt slave for your whole life is really what it is. Right? I'm telling you, they're going to look back at us hundreds and thousands of years from now and be like, wow, those people, they really tricked them, right? Every message we get, you don't learn anything at school about money. I studied accounting at one of the top universities in the country, right? And but so I was fortunate in that regard. Who did you learn about? Where did you learn about money from? We learned most of it from our parents and our grandparents. Who would you have learned about silver and gold from? Maybe you were fortunate. My parents aren't stackers. My grandparents weren't stackers. And you know why? I'll tell you why. My great-grandpa, okay, he fought in the Boer War in South Africa. I told you about that yesterday. That was a war that was fought between the Dutch and the British over gold. The British blamed it on something else, but the reality, the historians will tell you, it was a war based on gold. I don't know why my great-grandpa didn't teach my grandpa. My grandpa read the Wall Street Journal every day. He was a smart guy, all this great stuff. But you learn about gold and silver from your parents, from your grandparents, right? In India, in the country of India, do you know what grandparents tell their grandchildren about silver? Do you know? I'm going to tell you right now. Grandparents in India tell their grandchildren that they should own their body weight in silver. And when it comes to gold, Indian grandparents tell their grandchildren, just own as much gold as you possibly can. But in America, why is it that your grandpa likely didn't if he did, that's great, or your grandma or your mom and dad not teach you about silver and gold? Because Americans are financially illiterate. Think about this, right? In 1933, whatever it was, Roosevelt confiscated all the gold, made it illegal for anyone to own gold as an investment, basically, right? Right? And that didn't change until what, 1974? So you've got 40 years where people weren't allowed to invest in gold as an asset. It set the whole system up for the ultimate unicorn fart dust conversion. So from 1933 to 1974, or 75, whatever it was, you couldn't own gold. Well, then, right? Then in 1971, Nixon took the United States off the gold standard, right? And they created the COMEX and the LBMA, which were specifically, I'm saying create the LBMA, but the COMEX, but those exchanges and those futures contracts were explicitly, and it's documented, created to induce volatility into the silver and gold price and to discourage, and they wrote this out, it's in black and white, discourage people from investing or hoarding, as they said, silver and gold, right? So from 33 to 74, it was illegal. And then in 71, there was a concerted, organized effort to dissuade Americans. No wonder my mom and dad never taught me about silver and gold. I know Susie's parents weren't stackers. I don't know anybody really whose parents were stackers, right? It's very few and far between.
I will say that my uncle did give me silver dollars for Christmas and my birthday in the 70s.
Okay. Thank you, Susie. And you guys may notice Susie has a new chair here. She bought herself a new chair. It's an Adirondack. Oh, and it actually works a lot better. That's Susie, for those of you who are new, that's on the walkie-talkie. She's really the boss of the basement. And she mentioned that one of her uncles would give her silver dollars every year. Have a drink of coffee. We're not done talking about this yet, basement dwellers. No, we are. Excuse me. No, we are not. Okay, because as a result of all this in the United States, nobody knows about silver and gold. I'm going to go circle back to something we talked about earlier. Okay, I call it the rule of 8. You want to talk about the value of your silver, the value of your gold, possibly going up by 3 times, 4 times, 10 times in value? Guys, remember, in the 70s, that's what happened. It went up even more in value. It's okay to believe that that could happen again, because it can happen again. I'm not going to say it absolutely will, but if you compare the macro environment that we're in right now, the national debt, the BRICS being formed, just those 2 things alone, right, to what we had in the 1970s, we're in much more extreme circumstances right now. And in the 70s, yes, right, silver and gold skyrocketed. A lot of people say because of stagflation. Are we in stagflation? Do we have a stagnant economy now? Yes. Right? Do we have inflation? Yes. Right? So we could have interest rates go up, all this noise, but the bottom line is the value of these is going down. Okay? I'm going to show you something that I believe the value of will be going up and up. And it's one of my favorite coins of all time. I absolutely love them. And I kind of fell out of love with them. I never disliked them, but I'm going to show you what's in here. Okay. Because just as I got these from my offsite storage location, just as the value of that paper money was going down, right? The value of this is going up. Oh, yeah. Look, you got to get the right angle. Look at that. Okay. That's a Krugerrand, a South African Krugerrand. The value of that is going up and will continue to go up. Everywhere else in the world, everywhere, with maybe the exception of some of the other big G7 economies, Canada, right? Parts of Europe, although they're crazy about gold and silver in Europe, in Germany and France, okay? But everywhere else in the world, people are becoming more and more crazy about silver and crazy about gold. Listen to this. Listen to this. There's like a craze going on in Vietnam right now We looked at an article earlier in the week that like 6 of the big state banks in Vietnam started selling gold, and there were like lines of mobs of people to buy the gold. 2 more state-run Vietnamese banks start online gold bullion sale. Got gold, got silver. This is from our friend John Little at the Silver Academy. Look at that. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Huh? Gold bars. State-run Vietnamese lenders BIDV and Agribank announced that they began selling gold bullions online from Monday. Okay. Earlier, Vietcom Bank, another state-run local bank, announced its online gold bullion sale service on Wednesday of last week. And did you hear this about Vietnam? Vladimir Putin, who's just now in North Korea, right? One of their big allies, is next going to go visit Vietnam, and the Americans are not happy about it, okay? But nonetheless, the Vietnamese are going crazy. At BIDV, customers can register gold purchases. The bank will refuse new registrations when it receives enough registrations during the handling day. Customers successfully making registrations, and it goes through the whole process. And the Vietnamese central bank is involved. And let's go here. Okay, we're going to come to that one here in 1 second. The demand for gold throughout the world, the demand for silver is just absolutely staggering. Let's go back to gold quickly here. And I want to talk to you about the price, where we are with the gold price, because the gold price will have a major impact on the silver price. You guys, I'm getting some hate mail lately, like people complaining about the gold price not going up, going crazy. Thank you, Daniel. Hold on here. It says, I would love an episode about the military uses of silver. Yes, I will do that, Daniel. Thank you. Our friend John Little, let me show you this. It's unbelievable the amount of silver that's being used by the military industrial complex, not just in the United States, but throughout the entire world. Okay. And here's the kicker that a lot of people forget to think about. And thank you for that super chat, Daniel. When it comes to the silver that's being used by the military industrial complex, it's not reported. It's all kept, like most weapons related data is secret. So we don't really know for sure. Now, I know Andy Schechtman and a lot of people, it's pretty much accepted that like there's 500 ounces of silver in each Tomahawk missile, right? That's like a whole monster box of silver in each missile, each Tomahawk missile. So we don't really know. I'm going to run out here real quick. John had a site called Silver. Bear with me 1 second here. Let's see if I can pull this up for you guys real quick. I think you can still see me. Hello. Silver Wars. Nope, it's not working. I'll pull it up, but there's a website where they really dug into the amount of silver being used in the military industrial complex, and it absolutely is just staggering right now. Okay, guys. And again, that is not accounted for. Some people speculate that the actual amount of silver being used by the militaries throughout the world, it's not just the United States. You got to remember, China has a massive military. Obviously, Russia has a massive military. And nobody knows for sure how much silver is being used. Some people have even speculated that that's part of the reason why the price is silver.
Dad, did you catch Daniel super chat?
No, I didn't. Thank you, Susie. There's Susie right next to the crew grant. Silver Susie. Let's go out and say thank you. I missed a super chat here. Bear with me. And Daniel, yes, I did get Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, again. Okay, but the amount of silver being used. Let's talk about the gold market. Sorry, I'm got a little all over the place on you there. I'm going to go back. I'm always tempted to talk about these as we go through this, but let's go back. There's the COMEX. We are heading back to chart number 18. Okay, guys, here you are. we got to remember this, especially now. Remember the chart we looked at from the bald guy. June is a difficult month for the gold price and the silver price historically. A bull market does not just go straight up. There are pullbacks. We hit about 2,450 on the gold price, a month and a half ago, possibly. We're in a little bit of a pullback now, 2,300 range, a little bit above 2,300. When you look at this chart, that's where I put that arrow. Are we there now? Are we consolidating and preparing for a move higher in the gold price? I believe we are, okay? That's a bull market, right? This is a bear market. I don't believe we're there. We had been there. We suffered through that over 2 or 3 years, okay? Where we hit a high and then a low. No, we are here where we hit a high. We're coming back down, consolidating at a little bit of what would be called a lower high. Anyway, you know what I mean. And from there, we can move higher. I talked with Keith Neumeyer, I don't know, 7 weeks ago. He talked about the massive bull market that we had in the silver and gold price. See if I can pull this chart up. There's a great one. Those are Chinese people in line for gold. Hold on. I'm going to show you another way to look at the gold bull market. And again, this has everything. Oh, we got one more big bonus. Here we go. This visualizing gold, bull, and bear markets. The yellow are bull markets. So remember, from about 2000 through 2011, right? We had massive bull markets in gold, the yellow, okay? Keith Neumeyer, he said, yeah, I remember that. He's like, and it was like, it would go up and then it would come down and everybody would think, oh, it's over. And some people are feeling that right now, frustration with gold and silver. Oh my gosh, silver went to $32 and now it's back to $29. Oh, it's the end. No, right? That's the way a bull market works. It goes up, then it pulls back a little bit and keeps going higher and higher. Now, I believe we're in a bull market right now. I don't have a crystal ball, but if we are indeed, this is normal. This is normal. And that's what Keith said. He's like, the price would go up, then it would pull back and everybody would think it was over. And then it would shoot up again. And then it would pull back and everybody would think it was over. Oh, the bull market's over. And then 2 or 3 months later, it would shoot up again. So that's what we're looking at. And if we look at this chart and go over to the right, you can see that this move, right? These are big moves, 300%. 150%, 167%, 96%. We barely had a move, guys. So we could have some massive moves in the silver and gold price. Let's go check. We did get some breaking news. Our friend, the Shanghai Ghost, right? Oriental Ghost. I'm always saying that wrong. I apologize, Oriental Ghost. But he shares with us here. Here we are. What the heck? Hold on here, guys. Add the stage. Sorry about that. Oriental Ghost. Make sure you can see that. Yes. Okay. Another new record. Okay. Silver vaults on the Shanghai Futures Exchange dropped to a new low today, June 19th. The market data on the Shanghai Gold Exchange and Futures Exchange. Let's just check, right? Shanghai Gold Exchange, silver, AG, right there, $33 an ounce. Silver on the Shanghai Futures Exchange, $33.30 per ounce. But the important thing here, the silver vaults of the Shanghai Futures Exchange dropped to a new low since 2020. And look, here's a graph. Guys, the amount of silver at the Shanghai Futures Exchange continues to plummet. Lowest since 2020. We know what happened in 2020, right? I mean, silver was gone. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. I'm going to keep a close eye on you. I know that we will together be able to survive the storm. I believe we're heading into do you believe that right now we are heading into a massive storm for the end of the year? Think about just I don't want to scare you. So if you don't want to be scared, you might want to go, like Coin Shop Chris always says, go watch a Roadrunner cartoon. By the way, speaking of Coin Shop Chris, do you remember Coin Shop Chris? He's an integral part of Ron's Basement and helping grow this community, grow this channel. Well, I got some good news for you. Coin Shop Chris has his own YouTube channel. Actually, there's probably a link to it in the description of this video, or you can just look it up. He's making great videos, and his videos are a lot more focused on actual silver coins and investing. So do me a favor and go check out Coin Shop Chris and subscribe to his channel. He's got some really great content, and he's a great guy and most honest, good guy, really cares about people, cares about the basement dwellers. Easy for me to say. But as we move into this 6 months, right now, like, again, if you don't want to be scared, you better go for a walk or something else. But think about what's on the horizon, right? And we haven't really felt any turbulence yet from the election that's coming up in November, right? We got 5 months now, okay? 5 months ahead of us where political, social upheaval could happen in this country. But on top of that, there's a massive BRICS meeting later this summer, right? That could usher in. People are talking again about the gold-backed currency, right? The unit and Project Enbridge and a gold-backed currency that could be backed by as much as 40% gold. Look, it's a lot of speculation. I'm not saying, but I'm just telling you what the chatter is out there. We know that geopolitically, right? War everywhere, Middle East, Europe. I mean, it's unbelievable. Could you imagine if you were down here with me, us together, 7 years ago, and I told you that the war, the debt level in the country, the inflation problem in the country, the consumer in the United States is dying. The middle class is everywhere, is dying, right? And this is all confluence, one of our favorite words, right? In the next 4, 5, 6 months, right? We're still just now probably in the heat of the impact of what was a record fast rising of interest rates. Okay, hold on, Susie. I'll let you tell Susie, please repeat that for all the basement dwellers.
12 more thumbs up, please. Gone.
Okay, you sound like the Peanuts teacher. What she said was, right? That's what I heard. No. Anyway, she said we need 12 more thumbs up and we're going to ring the gong. Yes, the golden gong. Hold on. Let me get it for you. Okay. If you give us those thumbs up, we're going to give you 3 rings of the resonating golden gong. Nothing resonates like gold, I tell you. And no, that's not made out of real gold, but we like to make believe it's made out of real gold. It's made out of real gold just about as much as this, right? This is movie money. Might as well be. Okay, this is movie. That's been like this is real value, right? Or this. Remember, right?
You got the gong.
We got the gong. Okay, we're going to ring the gong. Boy, I'm going in many different directions. Let me finish with the doom and gloom. Guys, it's coming. Okay, it's coming to a shore near you in the next 5 to 6 months. I would be prepared. Okay, and there's even more. I can't remember everything all at once, but major election issues. Oh my gosh. And anyway, this is not a political show. But you know what's going on with our current president right now. Anyway, major economic issues, major debt issues in this country, in a world which is rejecting the United States, a world that just at a time when guys, this is a fact. We need the world to need our debt more than ever. Right? We need the world to loan money to the United States. That's what China did over the last 20 years. That's what Saudi Arabia did over the last 50 years. That allowed us to live beyond our means. And now we have more of a need than ever, right? Let's go out and look at the US debt clock real quick, right? This is pure. Hold on here. This is probably right. Oh, it went up again. 34 trillion. We're almost to $35 trillion. We need the world to need our dollar more than ever, just at a time when the world is rejecting the dollar. Now, it's not happening overnight, but de-dollarization is real. BRICS countries moving away from the dollar is real, right? Project Enbridge, all these different agreements that different countries, the Chinese buying oil from the Saudis, essentially for gold, no longer using US dollars, right? I mean, listen to the speeches. It's not on CNN, right? You got to dig in, but when you listen to what these, and you listen to their speeches and you look at their actions, it's happening right now. So this is not a pleasant situation for our children and grandchildren. Hey, the dollar to silver ratio popped up a little bit. Now we're at $164. This is real to me. Is this real to you? I'll tell you why that number is real. $164 per ounce. Because what that number means, to think of it very simply, is that for each new 1 ounce of silver, each ounce of silver that's dug up out of the ground this year, each 1 ounce, there's $164 of paper, make-believe, unicorn fart dust money that's created. That's based off of this number over here, the US M2 money supply, which you can see is increasing at a healthy rate right now. Let's ring the gong. We get 300 thumbs up. Oh, hold on here. Almost missed you. There you are. Okay, 300 thumbs up. Let's ring the gong. Listen to it resonate. Oh, brother, where'd my notes go? I lost my notes. Oh, my gosh. One more thing. You ever think that the world is looking at the United States like a bully? Not? Do you think? You think maybe the United States or the United States is viewed as a bully around the world? Listen to this. Listen to what Chinese President Xi had to say about, wrong one. Where'd it go? Here it is on Zero Hedge. Excuse me. Chinese President Xi said the U.S. is trying to goad Beijing into attacking Taiwan. He told the European Commission head Ursula von der Leyen that the United States was trying to, quote, goad Beijing into attacking Taiwan. Who knows if this is true? But basically, he said that the U.S. down here was trying to trick China into invading Taiwan and that he would not take the bait. I mean, all we hear from our media is that, oh, be afraid of China. Be afraid of China. They're going to invade poor little Taiwan, and we're trying to protect the Taiwanese and blah, blah, blah. But when you listen, excuse me, to what the Chinese president says, it's a little bit of a different story. He's like, the U.S. is trying to trick us. I mean, who knows, right? Both of these leaders say different things, but I found that very interesting. Hey, thank you for being here with me today in the basement. It really is a big deal to Susie and I, and we appreciate your support. Do me a favor, please support our sponsors, right? First Mining Gold, Canadian gold developer with 2 multi-million ounce projects in Canada. Fortuna Silver, silver and gold mining company, big operations in Latin America and West Africa. And of course, our friends at Pinbex, they really do check all the boxes. If you want to get your hands on some gold, silver, or platinum group metals, and you want to get the most metal for your money. Number one, I hope you feel like you belong here, because you do belong here. What a great community of people. Susie and I thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.